What is going on, everybody? This is Xbox Architect here, and I'm coming at you again with another house tutorial building series. And as you can see right here, we're going to be building this wooden suburban house. So I guess there's no point in wasting any time. We might as well just go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so before we go ahead and start working on this floor plan, what you're going to want to note is the dimensions roughly about how much you want to have carved out to be able to do this. So you're going to want to have 85 blocks across as you see it right now, and roughly about 110 blocks tall as you see it from above, just like this. And obviously this is a little bit bigger than the house itself and the property, but this is just so that you have a little extra space to be able to play with if you wanted to add trees or do anything else with the yard. So go ahead and make sure that you have some sort of flat area carved out in whatever world or terrain you're working on, roughly about 85 by 110. Alright, so what we're looking at right here is the basic floor plan layout for the first floor only, and obviously this is a two-story house, but we can't add any of those second floor elements until we have the first floor built up. So I'm going to do this in a very similar way that I did the previous series of building tutorials with the ranch house, where I've already gone ahead and I've traced out the pattern of what you're going to want to lay down as your basic shape. So obviously there are some openings right here, some blank spaces that don't have the colored blue and white squares, and that's fine. I'm actually going to go ahead and just kind of give you a tour from above and show you what each of the different rooms are and kind of explain how wide you need some of those openings to be. So let's start right here. This room is going to be the garage. This large opening is going to be 8 blocks wide. The smaller opening is going to be 4 blocks wide. This room right next to the garage is going to be your dining room. This larger opening is going to be 5 blocks wide, and the smaller opening on the side is going to be 3 blocks wide. This is going to be your entryway, and right here you're going to have a stairway going up to the second floor, and then underneath there's going to be a small hall closet. This is going to be a small sitting room or office area, and this opening on the side is 3 blocks wide, and the larger opening right here is 5 blocks wide. This larger room right here is going to be your main living area, and this opening leading into the kitchen is going to be 5 blocks wide as well. This space is going to be your kitchen, and that's going to lead into a 3 block wide hallway, and then there's going to be this space next to the garage. That's going to be your mudroom and laundry room. And then this smaller space right there is going to be a powder room or bathroom. So now what you can do is go ahead into your inventory and find spruce logs. And if you need to pause this to be able to see the entire pattern that I have laid out, go ahead and do that, feel free. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to trace over all the blue and white squares with spruce logs facing up just like this. And then once you have that finished, we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so now this is what you should have. It should look exactly like this, and if it doesn't, you probably did something wrong, but again, this is the perfect time to just go ahead and do a check and make sure that everything looks like it should. And before we move on to the next step here, we're just going to take one small little thing and change it up. What you're going to do is you're going to grab cobblestone, and this indent right here in the main living area, what you're going to do is just take these 5 outer blocks and replace them with cobblestone, because that's going to become your chimney. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start adding in the flooring materials. So basically the entire house is going to be birchwood floors. It's going to be the planks, as you can see right here. And there's only going to be a couple of different rooms that aren't. One of them is going to be this small powder room back here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and fill this in with polished andesite. And it should look just like that. The other room that's going to be different is the garage, and there's going to be kind of a two-step process here. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to delete this first layer of terrain material that you're building on top of, and you're going to place light gray concrete blocks in place of the terrain material that you just took away. Now we want to have this one level lower than the rest of the flooring material for the rest of the house, because this is the same level that the driveway is going to be, and I've discovered over the years that it just kind of creates a whole big mess if the driveway and the garage aren't on the same level. So go ahead and just delete all the terrain material in the garage and replace it with the light gray concrete. And then the last thing we're going to do right here, this is the opening for the doorway of the garage. We're just going to go ahead and place one block of light gray concrete in there, and we're going to add steps in front of here on a later step. However, for the rest of the house, what you're going to want to do is just fill in all these open spaces with your birch wood planks, and then after that's done, we'll go ahead and move on to the next step. Alright, so now you should have all your flooring materials laid down, and you should be looking at something that looks almost like this. And the only thing that should be different at this point from my screen to yours is the fact that I've already gone ahead and placed down the placeholder blocks for where we're going to go ahead and build out some openings and just some other decorative elements. So now that you have the flooring done, what you're going to do is you're going to come down and you're going to notice all these blocks on the outer edges of these openings that I was explaining before. So what we have right here, let's just start in the dining room. This is going to be a nook for like a credenza or a hutch. And what we're going to want to do is take our spruce log and we're going to raise this up to be 5 blocks high. And that's going to be our ceiling height. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then come over here and do the same thing with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to fill in this top layer all the way across, except we're going to make sure that our spruce logs are facing sideways instead of up and down. So we're just going to fill it in like that. And we're going to continue to do that on all the other openings on the interior. So that's going to include this opening right here in the dining room and the side opening. And we're going to do the same thing here across in this little sitting area and office room. So both of these openings will have one on the outer edge. And same thing with this opening for the main living room. And then this is just going to be a little wet bar nook right next to the stairway. That's also going to have it. And then this leading into the hallway where the mudroom and the laundry room is also going to have it. So I guess let's just go ahead and start here. And we'll just fill in as we go. Alright, so now we should have all of our interior openings framed out with the spruce logs, and the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the outer edges of these rooms, and as you can see, I only have one placed on the outer corners, but basically any room that has an outer corner on the perimeter is going to have these spruce logs. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise these 6 blocks above the floor height, not the ground height, but the floor height. So we already have one placed, so let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're making this 6 blocks high because it's on this 6th block at the top that we're going to base our ceiling off of, which is going to leave 5 blocks high of ceiling height on the interior. So we're going to go ahead and do this on this corner. 6 blocks high. Same thing right here. We'll just come around to the other side of the house and do this as well. And just check and make sure that height is right. Yeah, that was one higher. Again, we want these to be 6 blocks high. And even though the floor level on the garage is 1 block lower than the rest of the house, we're still going to maintain the same height that we did for all the rest of these for the garage. So we're still going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the next thing we're going to do for the garage is the same exact thing, except we're going to raise up all of the front portion just like this. So go ahead and just raise these up to the same height. Do the same thing right here in the middle. And then the next thing that we're going to do here for the garage is we're going to count 4 blocks high. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're just going to bring another row of spruce wood across just like that. And we're going to do the same thing for the smaller opening. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 high. And then bring it across just like that. We're actually going to make this flush with the rest of it, so just go ahead and add another layer on the outside like that, and do the same thing on the larger opening. And then at this point you can just go ahead and fill in with all the spruce wood logs facing up these spaces above that cross beam that you just added. And we're just going to make that flush with the height of all the rest of the stuff that we did previously. Alright, so now we have a majority of our main framing done, and the next thing that we're going to do is start adding in the main wall material, which is just going to be spruce wood planks, but we'll go ahead and do that in the next step. So now that we're starting to use our main wall material, which is going to be spruce wood planks, what you're going to want to do is you're just going to fill in all the rest of these open spaces with the spruce wood logs facing up. We're going to fill those in to be 5 blocks tall with the spruce wood planks just like this. Now, one thing I did forget to mention before is that you're actually going to leave these floor blocks right here. This is going to be where your stairway is. Don't go ahead and put any wall material on it right now because we're going to build the stairs in a separate step. So just go ahead and leave these blank. Okay, so now that you have all of your wall material put in, except for that spot right there where the stairs are going to be, we're going to take another couple extra steps here before we move on. What you're going to want to start by doing is you're going to take spruce logs, and you're going to start tracing the outer edge, only the perimeter of the house, with these spruce logs facing up just like this. And you're going to do this all the way around until you meet back up with the garage. Okay, so now you should have something that looks exactly like this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our spruce planks, same material that we used for the rest of the walls, and we're just going to go ahead and fill in the top level of this wall for the dining room so that it's at the same height as the spruce wood that we just placed on the perimeter of the house. We're going to do that right there, right until it meets this corner. And we're going to do the same thing over here, except we're going to bring this all the way out to this portion right here. There's this little wall that juts out right behind where this little wet bar is going to be. Just go ahead and bring the spruce planks all the way out to there. Now there's one final step that we're going to take here, and that's just going to be right where this spruce wood that you just placed 6 blocks high over this wall in the dining room. What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to grab your spruce logs and you're going to continue this on. Actually, you are going to bring this out 1, 2, 3, 4, just like this. Again, this is on the 6th block above the flooring material, so you still have 5 blocks of space underneath this, but you're going to bring this out sideways 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, and then you're going to bring it back in this direction 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, and you're just going to leave it right like that. Alright, so the next step that we're going to take is we're going to start adding in our ceiling material. So what you're going to want to grab is chiseled quartz block, and you're just going to start filling in all the spaces that are 1 block above these 5 block high walls. So that's going to include everything except for this space right here. This is where the stairway and the entryway is. We're actually just going to go ahead and block off that 2 block wide hole that we left right here so that we don't forget that we can't fill this in. But just go ahead and take all the rest of this space and fill in the chiseled cord blocks just like this. Alright, so now if we come and look at it from above, the whole entire thing should be filled in with the chiseled quartz, except for this area right here for the entranceway and the stairwell. And the last thing that we can do right here, this is going to be covered up by the chimney anyway, so what we can do is we can just go ahead and place really any block you want. I'm just go ahead and placing the spruce logs that we were using for the rest of this right here, and we can just fill in that little gap right next to the ceiling. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start building up the stairway. Okay, so now we're in the entryway and we're looking at where the stairs are going to go. So one thing I did notice is I accidentally made a mistake when I was laying out the floor plan before. So if you're looking right here and you have 4 blocks of spruce logs facing up right in your floor, what you're going to want to do is just delete this very first one closest to the entry wall, and you're just going to replace it with birch planks. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start building up the stairs. You're going to take birch stairs and you're going to place 2 right here. They're going to be 1 block away from the framing of this opening, and we're going to want to make sure that there's 5 blocks of space from this front wall where the front door is going to go. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take smooth quartz stairs and you're going to place them upside down directly behind the birch. And you're just going to keep doing this level by level. And at this point, we don't need the smooth quartz stairs anymore, but we will keep adding the birch stairs. So let's just go ahead and fill those in. And then you're going to place 2 directly on top of the ceiling material that we placed in the last step. Now what you're going to do is take the same wall material that you used for the rest of this, which is the spruce planks, and you're just going to place one directly right on the end of each level of stairs that you just placed. And then you can go ahead and fill in where those other 2 spruce logs were in the floor, and then fill in that block right there so that you're left with a 2 block wide and 3 block tall opening. And even though you can still see those smooth quartz stairs, it's not going to matter because that level will be filled in by a different type of block in a later step. Now what you can do is you can take your spruce stairs and you can just start going up right like this so that it ends at this spruce log. And you don't want to put one on the floor right here next to the stairs. We want to leave this open with a block so that it's even with this first layer of stairs. Now, one thing I also noticed is previously I had a spruce log sitting here, and that's fine, but you can still see that the very end of it is a different texture than the remaining 4 sides. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to go ahead and replace that with just spruce wood, because it has the same texture all the way around and it doesn't have that wood log look on the very end. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take spruce planks and you're going to place 1 block right on the very end of this wall right here, and we're just going to go ahead and make another layer of spruce wood coming across 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when you get to this point, just place another one so that it's even with this top step. Alright, we're going to take a couple final steps here before we move on to the next video in this particular build series. So we'll start at the entryway, and obviously you remember we went around the entire perimeter of all the outside walls and we placed those spruce logs facing up. These 4 blocks that are left right here, we're just going to go ahead and delete those, and we're going to replace them with spruce planks. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fill in right in between like this, so that you're left with a 2 block wide and 3 block tall opening. Next, we'll move over to these garage door openings, and we're going to fill them in with the actual garage door material. So what you're going to grab is pillar quartz block, and you're going to place them sideways and fill in the entire opening just like this. Now, I should note, you want these to be even with the inside wall and indented 1 block from the outside wall. We're going to do the same thing over here for the big one. And the final thing that we're going to do right here is we're just going to go ahead and add a couple of garage door windows. So 3 blocks off of the terrain material, you're going to cut a 2 block wide opening just like that, and you're going to leave 1 block of space on either side for the smaller garage door. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Leave 1 block of space on the side and make sure that you're cutting out the 3rd level of the garage door. And we're going to do the same thing right there. And you should be left with 1 block on this side and then 2 blocks in between. And then on both garage doors, you want to make sure that there's only 1 block above all the windows. Alright, and this is going to conclude the first video for this particular build series. If you're enjoying it so far, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button for more content. I obviously want to grow this channel as much as I possibly can, but make sure you stay tuned for the next video in the series, which is going to be where we start building up the 2nd level and other things related to it. So I'll see you then.